Hi, welcome to Politics and Bullshit. My name is Austin J. Rhodes, and today's topic is just basically us versus them. Why is there so much hostility for political stances? Well, today we're going to talk about the Democrats and the Republicans. My goal is to open your understanding of the parties, both parties, eliminating the bullshit to help basically further develop an understanding. Today, we're going to talk about the manipulation of these parties, followed by how votes were won with strategic tactics. Note to self, this video is not to persuade you one way or another, but to rather further your understanding. So, I wanted to briefly visit 1792, the origins and the development of the parties. How we are and we got to where we are today. All right, so in 1792, Democratic Republican was founded by Thomas Jefferson and James Madison. However, in 1828 is where Adams and Jefferson were the founding fathers of the Democrat and the Republican Party and had two different political views. So, George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, and John Adams formed what was called the Federalists. Their objective was to ensure a strong government and a strong banking system with National Bank. Okay. On the other side, you had Thomas Jefferson and James Madison, who pushed for a smaller and more decentralized government. Okay. So now we're going to jump into the meat and potatoes of, just a few interesting facts. Democrats were pushing for the continuation of slavery. And I also want to bring up that around 1830, the Democratic Party was entering a new era called the removal era. During the 1830s, Andrew Jackson was a major force behind the Native Removal Act. And they would forcibly relocate Native Americans from their tribes and ancestral homelands to the west of the Mississippi River. Now, however, during Abraham Lincoln's term, the Republicans were against slavery. And around 1865, the House of Representatives would pass our 13th Amendment. Yes, that's right, our 13th Amendment. Okay, so the Democrats would change their stances on slavery. Go figure. But to now being a anti-slavery, which would help reinvent the party, it seems to me like they were just chasing the crowd to get obviously more votes for the Democrats Party or the Democratic Party. This was a great reinvention for the Democratic Party and would be a great tactic to help gather support from others to get reelected so the Democrats would be in office. So during the 20th century, the Democrats would present strategic waves. Okay, so through the 20th century, they did this by courting black immigrant, Hispanic, and Asian voters through economic and civil rights policies. Okay, so this honestly sounds like just a familiar tactic in modern politics. You see, the way I see it, during Obama's term, that was the first fabricated election that would dominantly put our first black president or mixed race individual in office. This would paint the Democrats in a great light. To me, it just seemed like just another strategic plan to help win over people's vote. So much so that they would actually have a few plans up their sleeve, such as opening a door for gay rights and would sign to repel Don't Ask, Don't Tell in 2010. In 2001 and 2009, when George W. Bush was in office, this was when Massachusetts became the first U.S. state to legalize same-sex marriage. Now, in retrospect, seems to me the Democratic Party panders to these situations, only as a tool to keep their party in office. So much so that during the Kamala versus Trump presidential election, the Democrats would use celebrities to further their potential votes. So let's go ahead and talk about these celebrities. And the following celebrities from the music icons was Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Eminem, Billie Eilish, or Eilish, however you say her name, Lady Gaga. From film and Hollywood icons, George Clooney, Leonardo DiCaprio, Julia Roberts, Harrison Ford, and the main cast of the Avengers. And keep in mind that Avengers was something that was hot at the time. Sports and media, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Steve Kerr, Oprah Winfrey. Now, to be fair, though, Republicans had their share as well, such as Dana White, Dennis Quaid, and Dr. Phil. But the thing that I found most interesting is that when Democrats not only kept talking about how black Kamala Harris was, they would also bring Beyonce, yeah, Beyonce, to play at one of their rallies to help further a strategic approach. Okay, Oprah Winfrey, well, she would deliver a surprising keynote, urging voters to choose decency and respect. But most people knew what she was at least trying to or attempting to convey. That was all for the Democrats. As for the Republicans, Dana White, the CEO of UFC, one of my favorite, introduced Trump, praising him for a strong leadership or a strong leader in a strong America. So, from my understanding, both the Democrats and the Republicans, this one I'm not fully educated on, but they would manipulate SNAP benefits to force voters that were on government assistance in order to win over votes ahead for the 2026 midterm elections. Okay, here's the interesting fact though. During the 1930s was the New Deal and the Great Society, the 1960s, where the Democratic Party would first assume direct responsibility for the welfare of low-income families. So why do I bring this up? Well, I bring this up because Democrats are supposed to be the party that focuses on the middle class and the low-income support. They generally support economic equality, advocating for social programs funded through higher taxes on the wealthy, whereas Republicans, smaller role for government, believing that tax cuts for businesses and individuals coupled with deregulations to stimulate economic growth that benefits mostly everyone. At the end of the day, in my opinion, when we as a people or we as Americans get complacent, we can get complacent. And when we do, and we live out our life from government funding and we let the House of Representatives gain leverage, that's all it is. They gain leverage for the votes by utilizing the government assistance. That's a huge problem. So, it should be taken upon us to want to grow as individuals, meaning by working hard or self-entrepreneurship. A person is most dangerous when they don't rely on others. I truly believe that people get sucked into the propaganda of what's being televised because it's obviously easier to learn what's on our TVs rather than read a book, conduct our own research, stuff like that. But both parties have their agendas, but when we weigh out factors, we can just get mixed up and things get misconstrued. I was told before, just because of my beliefs, that I was like some bootlicker that listens to the white man. All right. Just to be clear, that was from a trans or a trainee. That person believes that they're a guy when biologically they're actually a woman. But hell, I'm the one that's confused, right?
You're trespassing on my property. You didn't win in my yard.
Wait.
All of you.
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that? Get everybody out of my yard.
So, this video is not to be made to persuade you to lean left or right. This video was made only for a brief educational purpose. I think that lots of families, they outcast their family members based on who they voted for. Honestly, at the end of the day, if a family really feels that, they get in their feelings, they feel that type of way, that they will let political beliefs separate them, then maybe that family isn't really a family. Okay? So here's a cheesy example. I like to work out, right? Let's say my brother would rather, instead of work out, go travel, live life, all that good stuff. Should I treat him as an outcast? My apologies if this video wasn't as exciting as people, nowadays are doing. Obviously, the new hot thing. Renee Good losing her life by the hands of ICE. But I figured I'd make this as my first video, just to kind of help you develop an understanding of how I view things. Okay? Because my next topic, well, that is going to be about Renee Good, followed by some honorable mentions. So Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and until next time.
Not tweet, hey. Talk. They say red, they say blue, they say pick a side. But my conscience ain't a mascot for your team pride. You can wave that flag, I got neighbors to protect. What good is your debate if you can't show respect? They sell fear.